right, welcome. We are returning to Decision Games 1999 War in Europe. Upgrade from the classic original War in the East, War in the West, War in Europe from SPI in the I believe it was the late 70s. I have both of them, obviously. And what we're going to do, I'm doing Case White. My plan is, if this works out, to drive through all the standard scenarios of this and maybe end up playing a full campaign towards the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. But for this video, I don't want it to be too long. I just want to kind of do the first turn and do it phase by phase as I get used to the rules and I can explain the rules. So looking at this, we see we have the sequence of play. We're not in the strategic turn phase, strategic cycle. So go to the tactical air war turn. All players commit their available air points as desired, and then we resolve any air-to-air combat. So if we take that down here, we'll see that in theory both players commit these points simultaneously. So there is a level of fog of war here. And I'll call it out. I think a comment, Don J2222, you'll see in the comment section, makes comments about a number of strategy plays with ground forces, but also with the air power. The Poles only have 2 points and the Germans have 20. So really, if the Poles come up, the Germans will probably take them out of the air. So if I was game playing this, I would be reticent to commit these. Just having them exist forces the Germans to waste air power on air superiority. But for the sake of this, and I think in real life, probably what happened was the Poles came up and they tried to fight them. So I'm going to go ahead and just commit both of these to air superiority. And the Germans, based on the odds, if I do 8, that means I can get 4 to 1 on both of those. So maybe they can eradicate it. And then the rest they commit to air-to-ground support. There is no air-sea movement, I guess, with the Poles, so we don't have to do it here. Air transport points, I don't think we have those. So, and what happens is any of these you don't use, I think, move to interdiction after the combat phase. And all these do is you can assign one to a combat, and it adds 1 to the die, which is good in the CRT. We'll see when we get to that phase. So looking at the rules here, there you go. You don't have to commit any air power points. Like I said, the Poles will probably just not commit them in presence, force commissionment there. But just skimming the rules here, 2 and 3 player, there's max for each front. We're nowhere near it. East front is 30 air points for air superiority. South front is 60. West front is 120. Holy smoke, that's a lot. Air superiority is resolved first. The one who has more air points is the attacker. Obviously, the Germans are. They've committed 8 to 2. And then basically what you do is for each attack, roll the die and cross-reference. After each defending air point is attacked, the defender counteracts one of the attacking air points at 1 to 1. So, if we look at this, I've got 8 points for the Germans, and there's 2. I could do, 4 to 1, 4 to 1. I think that's what I'll do without doing that. And then there is rules that if you have twice as many surviving air points, which the Germans already have, you can use the excess of that twice as many to take out enemy air points allocated to either of these, ground or air. Okay. Let's see. I think that's all I need to cover here. Yeah, then they get into the different kinds of missions. We're only going to probably worry about air to ground in this scenario, but there's all sorts of sea superiority, port suppression. I mean, it's somewhat involved. Going to be fun to try these things, especially I think the North Africa scenario would bring that out. So let's go ahead and resolve this. I think I got the chart somewhere. Yeah, let's see. I need the air combat chart. I'm not quite ready for that. See, air superiority. There it is. Okay, it's pretty big. Yeah, let's see if I can make this smaller here just by doing this. That's all I'm worried about right there. And you do see, let's see, 1 defending air point, no more than 1. Odds greater than 6 to 1 are treated 6 to 1. Odds lower than 1 to 1 are not allowed. Well, the Poles will counterattack 1 to 1 against 1 air point. The Germans are going to attack a 4-1. So basically it resolves down to the two attacks. If they roll a 1 through 4, that will be eliminated. The Poles still get to counterattack. But if they get a 5 or 6, they miss. So let's go ahead and play this through here. I think I got dice. We'll trust the vassal die roll. So I'll roll 2 dice because I got two 4-1 attacks. Easy to resolve. And survey says a 3 and a 5. One Pole is destroyed and one Pole remains. So we can put this one here. And I think I have eliminated. Yeah, hopefully I have an eliminated table somewhere. Yeah, there they are. Boom. Yep, there it is. It's there. I'm gonna tweak this a little. Gotta make this okay. One more thing to edit. There's the pole loss. Now the poles will counterattack 2 1-to-1s. So I'm gonna roll. They got to roll a 1. I'm gonna roll 2 dice, and if any of them was a 1, that's an eliminated German air point. No, none. So there's still one Polish air point. These units go back to available, the ones for air superiority. And the Germans now have 5, 10, they have 12 air points available for ground support. And if they're not used, they move into the interdiction to slow the Poles down. So we'll see the Germans are going to have a number of attacks here where they can use these. Yep, they're coming in here from the south. This is actually closest to Warsaw. That's the victory condition. Doing a little analysis here. This has got a good concentration of mechanized units. So this would be perhaps a good attack route too. These two, I think. We got a pincers. Not quite sure down here. Well, we've got an armored and a mech. These may run up here. We'll see. But that will be in the next phase. So in the next video, now that we've got those rules down, or at least not the full-blown air rules, but we do see air superiority, our next phase in the next recording will be the first player turn. And you can see that's going to be reinforcements, replacements, movement, rail movement, air movement. We're probably not going to do air or sea. We may do rail. We'll see. And then we have a air movement phase. I don't have any airborne units. Combat phase, mech move, and then any unused air points become air interdiction. So this is a good place. Short video, I think 7 minutes. We'll break it here. So we did get our initial introduction to the tactical air power rules. Not all of them, but at least the air superiority and how it works. So going to end it here. Say thanks for listening, and see you at the next recording.